And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford 4 Remember, it looks like it's going to rain. Looks like some dark clouds out there.
Very dark.
If you enjoyed that 55-degree weather, that crap's over. 67 degrees this morning. Go ahead and get ready for it. The heat is on, as Glenn Fry would say. My wife said something about, are they calling for highs in the 70s next week? Did I miss that?
A couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I don't like that. I get used to that kind of stuff. Let's see what we got going on today. Things are kind of quiet. NBA playoffs are moving along. There's an article about are some of the star running backs in the NFL done as far as we know them, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Milton, good morning.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. Also, a headline I saw, the Chargers moved out of San Diego, and they share a stadium with the Rams.
Yep.
And I was reading, or I heard on one of the Talking Head programs, they were talking about the NFL would like to expand, and because of the cost of stadiums and the amenities and those kind of things, it would make more sense to add second teams in cities that's got the numbers that could support a second team, and then utilize the same stadium, much like L.A. does, and the Giants and the Jets. Yeah. So two of those places that came up for possible expansion are Chicago and Jerry World.
Interesting, because Houston is so much larger. The city of Houston is.
Than Dallas?
It's like the fourth largest, and I believe that's right. I think it's like the fourth largest city in America.
What's about TV markets?
So to your point, yes, but it's just enormous. And I would think that instead of Jerry World, that it would be somewhere like Houston. I could see Chicago though.
By TV market, they've already got two teams in the top two: New York, L.A.
Yep.
Philadelphia's number 3. Dallas Fort Worth is number 4.
And we're talking about
number 5, TV market.
TV market,
yeah,
okay.
Because that's what they look at. They don't care about the other side. San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose.
That ain't happening.
Number 7 is Atlanta, and number 8 is Houston. Atlanta wouldn't work.
This TV market, but then it's also, as far as like I think what you were alluding to in the beginning, is the ability to put people in the stadium. And I'm still saying that, as I said before, it's about the experience virtually, for lack of a better term. Yes.
TV streaming, however you get it.
Yes. Because
that's where the money comes from, not from ticket sales.
Right.
It's coming from the TV rights, the streaming rights, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
What I think will happen though is a lot of the local economies, in the cities, and Charlotte's a great example. Will give tax breaks, for stadiums because it employs so many people, not just in the stadium for game day, but the lead up to it. Your parking. I mean, just hotels, all of these things. And so what I would bet
economic impact.
Yes, but what I would bet is if you start putting them, doing these double stadiums in places that won't or can't fill them, I believe those incentives might not be there, to do that.
My question is, would Jerry allow a second NFL team inside Jerry World?
Probably not.
I mean, that's money.
Not.
That's money.
It is. I mean, he does, and they do a great job. I mean, obviously, you can go there and tour it for a week. I got some friends that went out this past fall, and they said it was incredible. Said we went in and looked at all the stuff, and he said it's just stores everywhere, restaurants. The place was just packed.
Yeah.
People just going in, and it was like basically going on your own little walkabout or whatever. And I thought it was good. But I'll tell you one thing I was thinking about the other day. I bet the NFL is watching closely at Birmingham and what's going on with USFL.
They'll keep it as it is.
Follow me on this. If they're looking for expansion, one place that they're going to have to expand another team into is the South. okay, because so many people are moving down
Mexico?
here. Nope. But yes, but not that far. But what's interesting is I could see that happening in Florida, in Miami or Tampa. Okay?
Number 40 in TV markets.
Yep. Talking about look at the size stadiums they have.
But go back to your Florida point.
Right.
They don't support it. Look at the professional sports that have struggled because there's so many other things to do in Florida.
Right, but the great rotation has started occurring, and people that live in the northern states are getting down there for two reasons. Number one, freedom, okay, and number two, taxation. All right, and so you will see those habits in those northern states, as we've seen here in North Carolina and other, start filtering in. So the great rotation, as far as migration, has started, and it's not going to stop. And that's why I think that Birmingham and Mississippi and other places that traditionally, that have been looked at as maybe, not as wealthy as maybe some of the places up north, will start seeing that because people today can work remotely and are more interested in weather and tax-friendly places instead of being, especially after what's what's likely to occur over the next several months.
When you go through here, almost every top TV market city has a team.
They do, but
New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, Dallas, San Francisco, Boston, Atlanta, D.C., Houston, Detroit, Phoenix, Tampa, Seattle, Minneapolis, Miami, Cleveland, Denver. Okay, so the top 18 already have teams. Okay,
go back to the top, Lanny. The first two are New York and
Los Angeles.
They
have two already.
They are the two places that have a great migration out of the city. That's what I'm saying. That right now, that's what it is. But these people are forward looking, and so I'm thinking that it may.
But this is strictly numbers,
right? And I'm talking about now, versus 5 to 7, 10 years out. Yeah.
Now the surprising one on here, and I don't think Orlando would be in the hunt to get one. Sacramento, St. Louis would take a team again because they've already been there, but it was a stadium issue. Now, if you had a David Tepper type that came in that had the money that could just build a stadium, St. Louis will support it. They're just not going to support it financially with building you a stadium.
So years ago, and I go out there quite a bit, all right, pre-pandemic and then a couple times after here recently. So what happened was, and I'm trying to get this right, the city of St. Louis, something about them in the county, okay, and the city had the opportunity to do something as far as taxation and services and all that with the county, or the county proposed it in St. Louis. The city said no. And then what happened was they had a lot of things go on in the city, and they couldn't raise the revenues that they needed, so they were looking at the county. The county's like, you turned us down, no way.
Yeah.
And so there's some issues within the city, or have been, and then outside in the county. So what I'm thinking is, even though they got the baseball stadium in the city, and I go by the football arena, the big whatever, they may end up building something either right across the line in Illinois and call it St. Louis.
Sure.
Right. Or maybe a little bit, 20, 30 minutes south out near the airport, something like that.
But it would be inside that St. Louis TV market. That's the key. That's the key. Now, going down the list, let me find my place again. Portland's 22.
Okay.
Pittsburgh has a team. That's at 23. Charlotte has a team, 24. Indianapolis has a team at 25. Baltimore has a team at 26. Now, this is a market that, kind of surprising, Raleigh-Durham.
It can support it.
27.
It can support one.
You've already got the Hurricanes up there.
It can support one.
28 is San Diego. There again, that was a discrepancy. You couldn't,
Right.
It was a government thing. They couldn't make it work. They're 28.
Right.
Nashville has a team.
Yes.
They're 29.
Yep.
Hartford, Connecticut is 30. Kansas City is 31.
Yes, on Hartford and New Haven.
And then
West Haven, New Haven, I believe.
Columbus is 32. It's New Haven.
Okay.
32. Salt Lake is 33. Cincinnati is 34. Milwaukee's 35. This is a surprising one to me. Greenville-Spartanburg is 36. Greenville-Spartanburg. Now, you couldn't support it. And then you get on down to Birmingham at 40. Some people, you got the Jaguars. They're 47.
Yeah.
They're 47.
Yeah.
Buffalo is 51. New Orleans is 53. I'm looking. I think it's got all of our – no, Green Bay is 70. It is the smallest market of anything out there.
Now, I can't see that list, but what about like in the Midwest, say, for example, like a Omaha or Des Moines, like Iowa, that kind of thing? Is any of that on there?
Oklahoma City is 45. Salt Lake City is 33. You're way smaller.
Is it? No, yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. So it's kind of like, I guess when they all get down there like that, they're really tiny. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know
about that.
I don't know what the next move is, but that was just one of the things that they kicked around because it would be easier to do it. They feel like the magic number for the NFL is going to be 40. 32 to 40 over time, eventually.
Number of teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
now, to me, if I wanted to internationally expand, the first thing I would do is I would go to Canada and put one.
Quebec and like on either that or Ontario, or
somewhere,
or out in
because the travel, and then they've got football year round because CFL plays in the spring.
Yeah, they start about, and you're right, they're going to start their games in about, a week or two?
They're pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, they're ready to go.
Yeah. So you got the CFL that's up there, but if you did that, and somebody said that there's some kind of agreement that the NFL would not put a team up there because of the CFL, but I don't know. And then they've had success in Mexico City. Now, that surprises me. That really surprises me. But that would be an easy commute.
Well, it's 10 million people that live there.
Yeah.
And so, to your point earlier about these numbers, I think more than a TV thing, worrying about Mexico City, it would be more of an implementation like you're talking about and an easy commute. It is kind of a far way.
Yeah, for players.
Right.
Much better than going to London.
Yeah.
And London has 2 NFL-ready stadiums right now, Wembley, and I cannot remember the other one. But they are ready. They could take a team right now, but the travel logistics would be unbelievable in my mind.
They're going to have to drill that, that hole through the earth that they keep talking.
Gonna have to do something. Stephen Lowe, good morning. Richie, good morning. Richie said there's a lawsuit from fans and others to have the Giants and Jets drop the New York because they play and are headquartered in New Jersey.
Yeah.
The original plaintiffs amended a $6 billion lawsuit to have them moved out of East Rutherford because they are New Jersey.
Right, interesting.
There's also a story that the NFL was going to move the Raiders to St. Louis and restructure the organization. That's before they're able to move to Vegas. Vegas was the best move they've ever made, especially with the acceptance of gambling. And here's the thing. I don't think Vegas will ever have a diehard home fan base, but it will be a destination game.
For Raiders fans.
Go to Vegas.
For Raiders fans.
Yeah, go to
You're
Vegas.
right.
Go see the NFL. Bill Klein, good morning.
It's easy to get there from Oakland and, I mean, it's not that bad.
Richie said Canada does have a law in place that the NFL cannot expand into Canada to take away from the CFL.
Right. So I think British Columbia, with the mass immigration they have and just people in general, but also it's a large portion of Chinese. When people from China coming over.
When the Buffalo Bills were sold, there was speculation they were going to move across the line.
Right. There's just a lot of opportunity in some of these cities that are just north of the border, and believe probably we're within 5 years of seeing some things.
Yeah. Morning, sis. She was at the Canes game last night.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, her and Jonathan went to the Canes. She said she was in the nosebleed, but she was at least there. Andrew said, I believe a London team is not an if, but just a matter of time. They've been trying it and teasing it for years now. You know,
global, right?
I mean, that's what they want, but I just think about the travel logistics. And, of course, there's not any more supersonic transports to get you there quicker. So I don't know how they handle that. That would –
Randy, they got to take a page from, and I know this sounds crazy, but they got to take a page from the high school manual on this one, okay? Over the last several years, up until maybe last year, year before, high school football games are being moved to Wednesday night, Thursday night because of the potential of rain on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was over that 7 to 8 year period when they started doing this, they're playing on Monday nights or Saturday nights, people in the fall generally schedule their lives and say, no, I can't go out of town. I'm going to the football game. Or no, I'm not going to go out to eat tonight. I'm going to the football game. Well, when you start moving things for the potential of something or because of this or that, when it's not really legitimate but it's more of a if, then people stop attending. You know, I saw attendance in high school football games go way down, way down. I mean, we're sitting there 5-6 years ago at Maiden. I say we, I was just helping out on a once a week basis then, but I could look down in the stands and be in the box, and as you know, we wouldn't be at 50% capacity. And that's because we were playing on Thursday, Wednesday. And it's not that I'm not criticizing people what I'm saying for making decisions. What I'm saying is you've got to have your number one thing that you always talk about, and that's consistency. And when you have a team or try to play over in London and then you play at 11 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock, that's people are out of their rhythms in. They have things that they schedule, and people are creatures of habit. No matter what people say about, well, you should adapt to this, or if you really love it, you can do this.
But see, I've never figured that out because they can still play a 1 o'clock game.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. So if they do this, they are going to have to figure out the dynamics based on U.S. viewership and not a global, let's welcome everybody in and we'll just play it whenever we do. It's not like soccer. Soccer is accepted globally, and people will stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning or I mean, and again, I'm just giving, examples, extremes, but this is true. It is not true with your NFL base. It is a different type of viewership and a different type of mentality of person that watches NFL games.
Well, Andrew said travel doesn't matter to them. They will do multi-game home and multi-game road stretches. It would really only affect the London team. All the USA teams would only fly there once a season. I get that. And you're only talking about 8. You're only talking about 8. And it may happen. I don't know. Lindsay said that nosebleeds aren't bad at PNC. Could have done without the Ranger fans there. But, hey, overtime in a Stanley Cup playoff, and that was their first NHL game ever. Couldn't have been better. She said for me to put that on the bucket list. I may have to do that. Yeah. Richard said to keep the players from being worn down from the travels to London and back, they almost would have to do the 2 bye weeks around the game.
That's kind of what I was saying a minute ago.
I just it's logistics that have to be worked out.
And it's not really the travel that does, like travel per se, getting on a plane and going. It's the acclimation the body has to take for different time zones. You're feeding at different times. You're trained. You've got, everybody calls it jet lag. I mean, it's just body's acclimation to the new environment.
Right now, it's a huge issue, just East Coast, West Coast.
Yes.
And especially, if I'm not mistaken, the hard part is West coming East more so than East going West because of the time. It moves the time up. Let me take a break, and then we will be back. A lot more things to go on. Where I was going with that before we kind of got down that rabbit hole, Stan Kroenke is building a new facility for the Chargers, a new training facility, and I'll tell you where that is when we come back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things. like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, and then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Back in the saddle again. Glad to have you along this morning. Let's see what else we got going on. I got a couple things. I'll go back to the San Diego thing here in just a moment. Remind you about playoff action that's going on. A few teams still left. 1A baseball, it will be Cherryville versus I want to say Eastern Randolph, but I'm not sure. Both the teams that Cherryville's facing have losing records. Yeah. And then in 2A, we don't have anybody left in baseball. Yeah. In 3A, it's going to be North Lincoln at South Rowan, and it's going to be East Lincoln at St. Stephen's. We will have East Lincoln and St. Stephen's on WLON. That will be tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. And we decided to go with that game instead of the North Lincoln game because we felt like we could pick up 2 audiences there.
Was there ever any discussion on that, or was it pretty much just a done deal?
Keever's the man. I don't do them, so he can make the calls.
That's good.
And then in softball, East Lincoln's the only local team that's still in softball.
Yep.
East Lincoln will be taking on Central Davidson.
They're very good too.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
And so one game, all these games. This is 4th round, so one game away from Western Finals. Now Western Finals are still
2 out of 3.
Western Finals are 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah, so do home and away and home. Just depend on.
And then the state championship 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the designated site.
Yeah.
Neutral
sites. Let me give you this. This was released, and the reason it was released, they don't release all conference until every team in a conference is out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bandy's was the last softball team in, and they got eliminated on Tuesday. Right. So here, let me give you the all-conference and players of the year. Offensive player of the year, Macy Michael from here in Maiden.
Oh, yeah.
And defensive player of the year is Harley Burton from West Lincoln. Coach of the year was Chapman. Alan Chapman from West Lincoln was coach of the year.
Absolutely.
Here's your all-conference. Annie Andrews. These are Bandies. Annie Andrews, Owen Lale, Bailey McClellan, Caroline McIntosh, and Kenley Rembert.
Yep.
Your niece.
Yeah, she had a great season.
West Lincoln, Harley Burton, Bailey Huss, Chloe Norman, Farrah Richardson, Kayla Wehunt. That's your West Lincoln. Maiden was Aaliyah Eichard, Macy Michael, Tristan Smalling, and Avery Waddell was Maiden. East Burke, Taylor Boston, Addie Fortenberry, and Kaylee Page. West Caldwell was Abigail Bowman, Tori Davis. Lincoln was Ashley Antonio, Carly Williams, Ava Hamlet. Ava Hamlet is Bunker, and Emma Fox is Newton Conover. So I want to make sure we got those out there. Let's see who else I got here. Richie said, "Look at college baseball right now. Now that school's out, the teams are doing the travel games. For example, Kansas State's being played at West Virginia this weekend. They had a midweek game at Virginia Tech on Tuesday, and then on the way to West Virginia." Kind of what Ford was talking about in travel schedule, play a games closer to your destination and then one closer to home on the way back. A lot of like Charlotte's conference, the 49er conference in basketball, and the conference in that Appalachia's in Sunbelt, Conference USA Charlotte, they schedule those games so they catch 2 games on a travel so that they don't have to go out and back so much.
Being very efficient.
Yep, they do that. Milton said L.A. has a proven track record of not supporting their NFL teams. The Rams left them for St. Louis. The Raiders went back to Oakland. It won't take long. The L.A. bubble will bust. I think where the change has happened now, Milton, is it's all about those TV dollars, and I just don't think it's about the fans in the stands. Now I could be completely wrong.
California's losing big time though with like companies and corporations. And that's what I'm saying. I think that what you'll see in the South, based off of Texas and even into Mississippi, Alabama, I just think you'll continue to see the great rotation. And what's going to happen is states in the South will continue to adopt tax-friendly or tax-free, options from a state level to keep attracting those people in and those companies in. I just think that, it's what's happening right now. And there's just a large concentration of wealth and money. Cost of living's lower in these places, and they can get more done. And so I think from a viewership standpoint, which is obviously what you were talking about and a good point, I just believe that in the next 5 to 7 years you're just going to see a major shift in that. There's people everywhere, but the interest of people and how you engage them is what's most important. Like with the TV audience, and then what's happened to NASCAR, people stop watching it. They have. I mean, they can say what they want to, but people.
That's why they keep screwing with it,
well,
trying to get people interested.
Try to make this. The best thing they could do is halfway through the race stop and let them get out and start fighting to get viewership. You know what I'm saying? It's not that people don't enjoy racing; they don't enjoy it the way that's being presented.
That's correct.
The presentation of the product is so important so people can get a fundamental understanding of what they are viewing, what they're getting, what they're watching, right? It's not about selling it. People think it's about sales. It's about quality and value.
And here's the problem. Here's the problem.
And that's not happening.
What NASCAR did, NASCAR made changes for NASCAR and not the betterment of the sport and the fans.
Value and quality.
And that's where they lost it. That's where they lost it. When they made, most leagues make changes that are better for the game, better for the experience, better for the fans. NASCAR didn't. They just got greedy and wanted to expand and did whatever they had to do to try to do that, and then it didn't last. It didn't hold up. Jeff Meadows, great to meet you in person last night. One of the things that I have said, and I think this will have to be addressed in the player's contract because I think this is going to be needed. Jeff said, just consider jet lag an occupational hazard and offer occupational hazard pay. I think they're going to have to add an incentive.
I love it.
For players to for players to have to go to Europe, and I think you're going to have to offer an incentive for players to move to London to be their home base. I just think there's money going to be involved there somewhere.
Then you get into the whole domicile.
Right, that's
discussion.
Right. Richie said that's because there are other interests in L.A. If you have an off season, the fans can find a lot of other things to do. Same thing in Florida, especially in Miami. And I'm sorry to hear that. Bill said that Pete Huggins, former sports official, passed away. He was 89, and I remember him.
Pete. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I do too.
Wow. Sorry to hear
Milton
that.
says you can call it the Great California Exodus.
And again, we could. There's a whole different show in another arena that can talk about why people are moving. I mean, it's obvious. You can head in the sand it all you want, and that's fine. Okay, and say, no, that's not it or whatever. But it all has to do with two things: how much of your money you're keeping and how much of your freedom you're able to obtain based on basically who's in charge. All right? And people want to be able to navigate. They want to be able to go to games. They need it to be affordably or at least appear that way. And that's what the states that I named, that's what they currently give you. And so, without getting into politics, people can believe what they want to believe, Lenny. That is fine. I don't ever criticize somebody for what they believe. I may not agree with it, but that's their right, okay? Whether it's not up to me to decide whether they're right or wrong. It's their life for them to choose. But when you see a mass exodus like you're seeing from the north and out west coming to a point, these markets that they're talking about, they better look 5 to 10 years out because the younger people are not going to games and they're not watching them. If they do go, it's a party.
It's an event. It's not about the game or the sport. Yeah.
And you talked about changing the game for the better. What happens is, as we've seen, especially the last 2 years, nobility runs at an all-time high to try to make things better. All right. However, during all this nobility, there's never consultation with the people that are on. I say never, almost never, consultation with the people on the ground. Okay. Or the people that are most involved. It's always from higher up.
Yep.
And, I mean, that'd be like a company telling me, you have to do this, and I'm just giving a work example, which I rarely do. You've got to do this for your clients, even though the company may be based out far away, and they don't know people like I know my clients and friends. And they want me to do something based on their narrative instead of what's best for the person. That's insane.
But there's so much of that going on because they think they know better than anybody else. That's why people leave
those companies.
That's right.
Okay? Same thing with this. And it has nothing to do with sports. It has everything to do with value and quality meeting on the axis and understanding how to enhance it. And that's not what's being done. It's being done about how quick I can get signed. And it's a stylistic form of behavior that will crush itself in the end, almost where there's irreparable harm that you won't be able to recover from it. NASCAR is going to have to get back locally And I mean, I know this is where everything is, but it's going to have to get back to re-engage the interest.
Southeastern base.
It's got to come back, or it's going to die in 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
It's people watch
Well,
Daytona.
it won't die
They go
as
everywhere
much.
else.
It won't die as much as what they're currently putting out there will go away because they can't support it. They can't support that many dates and stuff.
Well, I mean, look at all of the nonsense.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. Wilkesboro, Rockingham. I've made this statement before. When I was a kid,
Wilkesboro.
I was
Thank you, Brother
really,
Jeff. Thank
really
you, sir.
into NASCAR. I made 6 races a year. There was a group of us, and I wasn't 11, 12 years old. We did Rockingham twice. We did Charlotte twice.
Mandy's family, Robbie, Randy, all them, Bill took them.
And we did Darlington
I'm sure
twice.
y'all probably saw them there and didn't even know it. They were at all of them.
Bob, you're probably right there. Bob said golf is following the same path now. Greed is killing it. Until you
It's
can,
right. It's
until
just-
you can take it and say, "Look, I'm going to put the best events on, and
Yes.
whoever wants to come." Instead of,
Yes.
okay, this is all that NASCAR does the same thing. They did it when NASCAR drivers wanted to pull out. You can't do that. We're gonna hold your feet to the fire on this.
Lenny, they can make the experience like you're talking about for the home viewer
Mm-hmm.
with all of the technology. They can, and drones and the lines,
Right.
camera on the lines, everything. They can make the experience solid for the home viewer. But what you cannot take away from the games itself, whether it be golf, baseball, football, they destroyed basketball, okay? What you can't take away from it is the integrity in which the foundation was built. That's why college football's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to watch mega teams. They will for 2 to 3 years, then it's over.
Well,
It's
the
over.
The diehards will follow it, but where sports is trying to do it now, NBA went too far. They forgot about the core fan and just want the casual fan to pick up the eyeballs, but you got to find that mix between
Yes.
the two.
Lenny, diehards.
Yeah.
The diehards. What you have to do anytime, and again, this is opinion, but very educationally based, okay? Anytime you are building anything, okay, and trying to continue it, you've always got to be in growth mode. You can never be in sustainability mode. The thing about diehards is they die.
Yes.
All right, it's about what you got coming in the front door, it's not about who's getting ready to cross the goal line, all right, the eternal goal line.
Right.
It's more about who's receiving the opening kickoff and who's at about the 50 and driving.
But it's about subtle changes that appeal to everyone
and that
trying
way
to
engage the
retain
interest. Yes.
retain that fan base.
And we try to do that with technology when in reality, technology is an enhancer. Like these things right here, people will say, well, my ability to get information makes me smart. I mean, I hear stuff all the time about, all you got to do
Makes you
is
informed. It doesn't
do
make you
this and
smart.
do that. It's application. All right, people say, well,
Yeah.
I'm just so frustrated. I mean, like I just see so many great opportunities for people to enjoy things with their families. And because there's such short-term instant gratification with everything, okay, not that that's not been a problem since, the Lord created mankind, the world started. But, today you would think that people would be able to take that little bit longer-term approach and see how bad stylistic behavior has been, both in, Twitter, I'm so blessed to announce that I got this offer. When you and I were growing up, if we would have said that in the local paper, we'd have got beat up in the neighborhood. Because they would tell you, nobody cares about you.
Yeah, that's right.
Do your thing. Now, I'm not criticizing people. What I'm saying is, as the world evolves and changes, the one thing that you always will be able to fall back on is substance that will sustain you and not style. And everything's the wow factor.
The technology and the social side of things, what it's done is allowed the person to create their own entity instead of it being reported on by others that see your value. You're putting it out there in front. You're writing your own. It would be like, and I've seen a joke about this, it would be like writing your own obituary. You don't do that. I mean, that's not the way it works. It has to be based on what people saw in you, not, you don't want that narrative. Let me take a break and I'll be back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you. Let me get into my article that I didn't get to. I'll get a couple comments here, and then I'll get into my article that I started at the beginning of the show that I've never gotten back to. Andrew said, and the concessions. Don't forget about the concessions, the $18 beers at the PGA. Richie said, talking about what you were talking about, He said they bought a 3,400 square foot house on 2 acres near the end of 21. He said, I can tell you for a fact that their property would be worth well over $1 million in California or up north.
2 acres?
Up north.
Oh, you're looking at 7
and possibly
or 8 right
500,000 in North Carolina.
now.
It's all regional.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Million in North Carolina.
You're right.
And
you're right.
Just because of inflation,
Richie
you're
said
looking at 7 to 8, and maybe even 10 to 12, depending on where in California. 2 acres, because they live like this.
Yeah, NASCAR messed up with Rockingham and Wilkesboro. You can't run a race the second week of February. There's no telling what the weather's going to be. It could be 80 degrees during practice and qualifying, and possibly winter weather on race day. And that's right. That's right.
Hey, man,
Brian,
that's
good
right.
morning
That's
to
right.
you. Glad to have you with us. Bob says sports is competition to me. The world that presents the action these days think the competition is the ad dollar and what time can we present to get the action with the most viewers.
Yep.
I really think those nuts could care less about any of us, just the ones that sucker in. And that's where
the problem.
that's where you got to mesh the two, and you can, but you got to give the right amount of value to each element that goes into it,
and the quality that comes with it. You're 100. That is, we need to patent that.
Yeah,
because to Bob's point, and of course what others are chiming in on this. This is the point, and we are getting to the breaking point. Not that the world's going to go, because it's already crazy, but we're getting to the breaking point where we're going to start seeing what we're talking about start occurring more. Right now, it's about wow and excitement, and people are seeing that's not sustainable in the world we live in.
The problem, the pop doesn't last as long as it used to.
That's it.
Yeah, it used to be the pop would last and carry you through till you could come up with another pop. But now, if the pop don't hold you, once you've had the pop, you've lost it again.
All right, so follow me here. Crazy analogy, but just follow me, all right? Fireworks, firecrackers, and bombs. Both have an extreme pop. What's longer lasting?
The bomb is.
Because it has more substance than it does.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now we're getting, I can see it starting to happen, especially in younger people that maybe thought about things one way that are now starting to realize, I better stick to what I'm good at instead of trying to be first, or enhance what I'm good at, or find what I'm good at instead of trying to be first, and then it just goes away like dust in the wind.
Yeah. Let me go back here. Andrew, you're correct. He said he did see North Wilkesboro's opening back up with track with racing beginning in October.
North Wilkesboro's got it going on, man.
Yeah.
That place is happening. I'm telling you, Merle Fest, all of these things going on up there. It's 25, 30 minutes to the mountains.
Yep.
They're in the higher foothills. I'm telling you, they got bike tracks up there. The Virginia. They got all this stuff going on there, and I'm not surprised, Lanny, that they have it coming back. I'm not shocked at all. That's a great place.
The Chargers, as I started to say earlier, the Chargers are doing a ceremonial groundbreaking on their new headquarters in El Segundo. Okay? The Chargers have already started work on a 14-acre site slated for completion in July of 2024. But Dean Spanos, owner Dean Spanos, said the Chargers left San Diego for Los Angeles in 2017. They played in a soccer stadium in Carson for 3 seasons before becoming co-tenants in SoFi Stadium. Yeah. So while searching for a permanent location, the Chargers have been temporarily headquartered in Costa Mesa, which is Orange County, Orange County is L.A., a large part of L.A. Right. Most of the sites that they considered were in Los Angeles County, but the new headquarters will be less than 3 miles from the airport, 7 miles from SoFi Stadium, and it's a $276 million project for construction and permanent financing for the facility. Okay? 3 full-size fields along with a main building that includes team meeting rooms, training space, rooftop hospitality club, and an esports gaming studio. It will also host the Chargers training camp, because what's happening now is teams are starting to bring the training camp back home. Players don't want to go to Wofford and don't want to go to all these other places for training, so they're starting to do that. And he said Justin Herbert, who's their quarterback, who had an NFL caliber facility at the University of Oregon. Well, he had that because of Nike money. That's why he had that. Said the headquarters could help attract free agents and retain current players. That's a huge part of it.
Investing into your product.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, the
imagine
Lakers
that.
and the Kings, NHL Kings, have their practice facilities in El Segundo. Okay, so this is close enough to where it services. And the other thing you're seeing 7 miles from the stadium, but the important one was 3 miles from the airport.
Right.
That's what they're looking for, that ease of travel to get folks in and out.
4-hour commute to the stadium and 2 hours and 20 minutes to the airport. Mm-hmm. But all kidding aside, Dave, that is an excellent example, what Herbert's talking about, of why you do what you do for the benefit, of the product and service that you're trying to provide. They're investing, not spending money. Mm-hmm. There is a difference between spending money and investing it. Okay, anytime you invest for the long term and for the benefit of. Anytime you spend, it's likely for the enjoyment of, and it goes away. Mm-hmm. Spending is stylistic. Investing is substance-based, right?
Yep.
I'm not talking about my job. Very full disclosure.
No.
I can't. What I'm saying is, this is a great example of what will likely end up happening in Rock Hill, and if not in Rock Hill, over in Fort Mill. Because
Andrew said, "Tell them there's one already partially built in Rock Hill if they need it."
I can't see that.
Yeah. Bob said, like I watch a beauty pageant to see what color of lipstick the lady wears or the type of heels she wears. You're looking for the whole presentation. You're just not looking for the pieces, and that's where they got to get on board with this. Now, this was the other story I did want to touch on before we get out of here. Are McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, Zeke? I think Zeke Elliott's been done. That's
been a long time. Yeah.
But, you got these high-paid running backs, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb.
They're all done. Every one of them.
All of these, you're not going to see them get. They're not going to see them get second contracts.
Body can't take it.
Now, out of all of these, I think that Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara can have a longer career because they're multi-talented out of the backfield into a slot receiver so the body don't take the beating. Because Kamara, that was one of his big things, like McCaffrey, is his ability to catch the ball in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's
but Zeke and Derrick Henry, they're pounders.
Well, yeah. I mean, and what I'm saying by what I mean by they're done is the flash of greatness will appear from time to time. But the issue is of sustainability because the beating they take, it's so unlikely. And McCaffrey, these guys don't play but like in 30 or 40% of the games because of injury. So, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like saying, well, this kid's a great player and he's the best on the field when he's there. Okay, when is the thing?
Availability is one of the biggest qualifications in how much a player is worth.
Right. I can be
any sport.
Right. I can be the best coach in the world. But if I don't go coach the team and I'm sitting at home and not, and I'm sick and I can't go coach, well, I might be, I'm using me. I'm
sure.
Just giving, it could be you or whoever. I might be, third person I, of course, might be that great coach. But if I'm not out there coaching, what does it matter?
If you're not implementing it,
that's what I'm saying. It's about style versus substance, and the younger generation is slowly starting to figure out that
it's an age thing. They have to grow into it.
It's okay. Again, we all went through it. Mm-hmm. You couldn't wait to wear your Clemson stuff on the way home when you're visiting the family, right? Just like I couldn't wait to come home that first weekend and wear my ECU baseball hat. And wear it everywhere.
Absolutely.
Man, I wore it to the mall. I wore it to Valdez Recreation Department. I mean, just everywhere. Style. What I needed to be doing was running my 60 and 70-yard sprints, lifting weights, okay, and eating for nutrition instead of taste, okay, and training my body and working on my substance instead of worrying about, look at me.
Yep, that's right.
Okay? So that's what we learn over time.
Yep.
And I can tell you that style may be a quick hitter, and everybody loves it.
Can't last.
But if your rear end is not producing,
give you McCaffrey's
you bring
number.
no value.
McCaffrey's number for 2021, 99 carries for 442 yards. That's almost 5 yards a carry. That's good, but he can only get 100 because he got hurt. He had 37 catches out of 41 targets. That's great.
Quick hitters. Yep.
But he had 343 yards and 1 touchdown. He couldn't last.
How many total touchdowns did he have last year?
2.
Huh?
1 rushing, 1 catching.
Yeah.
He's on a 4-year, $64 million extension that he got in 2020. Okay, that's just one.
I'm gonna go home and watch Moneyball.
It was on last night. I saw that. Derrick Henry last year, 219 carries for 937 yards, 10 touchdowns, 18 catches out of 20 targets for 154 yards, no touchdowns. That shows you where his decline is. And he's not multifaceted.
Exactly. Now, he can be, but he's not adapted to that style, right? And this is the issue. What do both those players have in common? Neither one of them played hardly any at all last year. When they brought Henry back after getting, I think a bye or whatever, what happened to him? They got beat. They were winning without him because they adapted and refined their process without him. But then because he's such a great player, and we all agree that he is phenomenal. You know, the things he's done.
His success rate went from 40.4 in 19 to 43.3 in 20 to 33 and a third. That's 1 out of 3 in 21.
Who is that?
That's Alvin Kamara. He had 240 carries for 898 yards, 4 touchdowns, 47 catches out of 67 targets for 439 yards and 5 touchdowns. But how much of that is going to be contributed to Drew Brees, and how much can Jameis Winston, can he still do that with him? It's not just one dimension. It's not just one person. And then Zeke Elliott, 237 carries for 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 47 catches out of 65 targets for 287 and 2 touchdowns. He's still – all of these players, and I say this over and over, all these players that extend, they never seem to have the success rate. Now, this was the other point that came up. Zeke Elliott versus Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is twice the player Zeke is, but Jerry can't pull the trigger because he's paid Zeke.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, when you're constructing things defensively or offensively, but defensively, you know, there are certain people that you will let them get their yards. I'll give you a great example. Spring football a couple years ago, you know, the COVID year or whatever, North Lincoln. The 2 people that were not going to – or there's 3, but the 2 people that were not – 2 positions that were not going to beat us, okay, in that double wing veer type offense, option offense, were the quarterback and one of the wing backs, or what they call the B, or I don't know if they call it, but some people call them B backs. I let the fullback have 135 yards because I knew he would eventually wear out. Didn't care. Let him have a little more in the second half so the clock could run while we had a lead. But everything we did defensively was to stop their 2 best players, which were their quarterback and the B-back. Okay? Now, people may say, that fullback, oh, my God, he's a great player.
But if he never gets in the end zone, it don't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, he can have all the – you don't get any points for yardage.
Again, that's the difference between analytics and people that have played and I say understand from a different point of view, not
different perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're trying to defend or stop something, you don't let the best player, in most cases, get all they can get and just try to shut everybody down. There's a reason they're the best player. All right.
Well, you force people to beat you with something else.
Right. So if a quarterback is left-handed, he's going to be forced, like Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
I'm going to shut you down going that way.
You're going to go to the right, and instead of throwing the ball 50 yards down the field, we're going to let you have 7 or 8 on the ground. Tampa, that's why they won.
Yeah,
people
that's
say,
right.
"Oh, Brady, okay, he's great," but no. You know, the too high safety look, and the way they pass rushed and forced with their blitzes to make Mahomes run to his left. It's not that he can't throw going to his left, but when he's running for his life, He can't turn around when you got defensive
You got
ends
to turn
faster
the
than
shoulders.
You are. Yes. And not that I'm going off on a tangent, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry.
Now, let me give you a couple things before I shut her down. Richie said, is Breeze going to Seattle? Only if they're broadcasting a game there. Get it? Richie said, I'd give up 40 points to Steph Curry. The rest of the team has to beat you. So if you shut down Steph, they got to go somewhere else.
Okay, this is the problem. And Richie's not wrong. But what happens is in basketball, and this is according to my dad who, coached high school and college ball and played, whatever for
Basketball
years.
savant.
All right, yeah. So what happens is when you have an outside shooter like that and you eventually have to get on him to stop him, especially somebody that's hot on a certain night or like Steph Curry's hot every night just about, it opens up every opportunity on the inside to control the boards.
Right.
When you dump the ball in both offensively and defensively.
But now, like in the NBA, they don't have guys that can dominate the ball.
Well, because they don't let them foul.
Yeah.
If you body up LeBron, all right, what's he going to do?
Yeah, because he's not an inside banger.
I mean, he's big and strong and, does all these great things. But, again, the game's evolved because the players have.
And to answer your question, Bob, I didn't have to get 4 to explain the LR baseball bracket to me. It is a double elimination that just does not look good on paper.
Right.
That's all it is. It's just
like,
not on paper.
Hey, Bob, it's like that old regional format when my freshman year ECU went out to play Wichita State, and it was even like this when I coached at UNCA. It was like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like 1 versus 6, 2 and 4, 3 and 5. And then if you won that first game, 1 versus 6 or whatever, then you had to wait. And I mean, it was just insane.
Yes. Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, why do you not put 8 teams out here and just, either do pool play out of the 4 or just do double elimination?
Here's the deal.
It's crazy.
If you're going to do brackets, you got to have even numbers that work before. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing.
Oh, my God.
Have a great day, everybody. Probably see you in the morning. We'll just wait and see.